What is up, weather enthusiasts? I'm your host, Pat's Path Predictor. Let's get right into the weather. Alright, so here's the situation we have for you, ladies and gentlemen. We have another snowstorm coming through that's going to be bringing some pretty big impacts to everywhere from Montana all the way to the mid-Atlantic. So we're going to go ahead and cover that. We're going to show you all the models that we're looking at and kind of see what's going on, as this is going to be accompanied with a second wave of Arctic air that's going to be primarily impacting the Midwest and mid-Atlantic this time. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and jump right into this. Let's go ahead and start with the forecast models right here. We have the North American model pulled up as of right now, because now we have all the models that are available, because this is going to be happening in the next couple of days or so. So at least we'll get the Midwestern aspect of the impacts from the HUR and the RAP. But for the rest of the country, like the Mid-Atlantic, we'll be using the NAM, NAM-NEST, GEM RDPS, GEM GDPS, the European, and the GFS for that, just to give you a scope of what we're potentially looking at. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. The North American model, I know I'm saying with that being said over and over and over and over again. I'm sorry, it's it's a force of habit. Just please bear with me with that. But with that being said, oh my god, I just said that again. Okay. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and get started right here. And this is the North American model. We have this thing organizing and developing over Montana. In fact, there are actually winter storm watches in effect right now. Winter storm warnings in effect. In fact, there's a blizzard warning in effect for parts of Montana over here, which is pretty interesting. And we'll have to. I want to take a look at this blizzard warning real quickly. Apparently, there's an error processing my request, so we'll have to see what happens with that. But we can pull up the winter storm warning at least. And we're looking at snow accumulations up in the mountains, up to 1 to 2 feet of snow in a lot of areas. If we go ahead and go down to areas like Missoula, for example, over here, if we can go ahead and get this to pull up nice and easy. An error keeps an error keeps happening while processing my request, so we're going to have to kind of leave that alone. But either way, in the mountainous areas, we're looking at 1 to 2 feet of snow. If we go ahead and show you what's going on in eastern Montana around Billings, that area just outside of that Miles City, and that area. I know these are very rural areas, but oh, come on, you've got to be kidding me, NWS. We're going to ignore the NWS for now because it's quite frankly not working for us today. But we're going to go ahead and use the models essentially because we know what the snowfall is going to be like in Montana. I think nobody outside of Montana, Idaho, and the Pacific Northwest cares about that. I know I'm kind of joking, but I understand where that's coming from. But anyway, let's go ahead and jump right into the model right here. The NAM actually has an interesting setup for parts of the Midwest, particularly the Chicago area, and going all the way to Ohio right here. It looks like, according to this right here, starting tonight, we're going to be having a pretty big band of snow start to develop over Illinois, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Ohio, and it continues to get stronger as the time continues to go on. And by the time we start going into Thursday morning, tomorrow morning, we start seeing increased snowfall for much of the Midwest over here. While this system over here is lurking and starting to organize and develop, it should be calming down by the time this system arrives. Although the NAM is forecasting some snowfall to happen as this Alberta Clipper right here starts to really crash in and bring a lot more snowfall to the Midwest over here, and then it starts moving over to the Mid-Atlantic, where it generally brings another round of heavy snow. They got some earlier this week, and now they're getting even more snow as we continue to show that, pretty much impacting the area from Washington, D.C. all the way to Boston once again, as this thing turns into a low-pressure system and then exits the United States. So we're going to have to pay very extra attention to that, but there's also a lot of lake effect that's going to be going on with these systems. As we look at them right here, a lot of lake effect off Lake Erie, Lake Ontario, and especially Lake Michigan, and into Canada, Lake Huron right there. So let's go ahead and show you the total snow accumulations. We're going to start with the first system right here that's going to be impacting much of the Midwest. We're not looking at very much snowfall, at least from what we have here, although parts of Michigan, including Detroit, could see up to 3.5 feet of not 3.5 feet. That would be really terrible. 3.5 inches of snow happening right there before the big stuff starts coming, and it really ramps up. And owing more or less to the lake effect right here in areas of northwest Indiana, as much as 10 to 12 inches of snow could be falling from this, although granted, a lot of this is mainly due to the lake effect right here, so we're going to have to pay attention to that over here. And then we have Yeah, so either way, without the, even if you don't take the lake effect into account, we're still looking at additional 4 to 6 inches of snow for a lot of the Chicago area right there. So we're going to have to pay attention to that. And as for the Mid-Atlantic situation, let's go ahead and show you what we have going on. Interestingly, the NAM has Washington, D.C. getting about 1.5 inches of snow at most at this current point in time, while mainly concentrated in Pennsylvania and New Jersey right there, which is still going to be dumping a good 4 or 5 inches of snow. Although I kind of understand where that's coming from my perspective right here, but I do feel like based on the fact that we're looking at less precipitable water at this current point in time. It does look actually. Let's look at the precipitable water. I want to take a look at that. Total precipitation accumulation. Yeah, I can understand where they're coming from with the whole 3 to 4 inches of snow accumulation. And this is suggesting to me we're looking at snow ratios of about, from what I'm looking at here, anywhere from like 10 to 15 to 1. So we'll have to see what those temperatures are looking like at this current point in time. That's what the NAM is showing right here. Next model we're going to go ahead and show you is the GEM RDPS, and this is for snow accumulation right here. But I'm also going to go ahead and show you the tracks of these things right here as they continue to cover the United States, as this is more of an hourly model than the North American is. And as this clipper starts to impact parts of Montana into the Dakotas, this small system right here starts to move through Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, and Michigan. And snow accumulations from this, once again, not very much, although the majority of it's going to be in Michigan, although New York could see a lot of lake effect snow from this system, so we're going to have to keep an eye on it. But this big thing is going to be organizing and developing as the Alberta Clipper slams through a lot of Chicago, Milwaukee, Madison, Indianapolis, Detroit, Columbus, Cleveland, Toledo, and then moving into Pennsylvania, Virginia, Maryland, Delaware, New Jersey, and then into New England over there. So we're going to have to pay attention to that as this thing exits the United States. Let's go ahead and show you the total snow accumulations over here for much of the Chicago area. The first system doesn't even give us that much, gives us maybe 2 inches at most, and then the second one kicks in and it gives us another anywhere from 6 to 8 inches of snow depending on where you are, although there is a significant band of lake effect that's going to be happening throughout that area over there, and it gives areas around Washington, D.C. an extra maybe up to 2 to 4 inches of snow, and another area like around Philadelphia around 2 to 4, a similar situation, which is pretty interesting to take a look at. So we'll have to pay attention to that. The GEM GDPS is showing more snow mainly for Pennsylvania and New Jersey over here, but still holding up when it comes to the Midwestern system. The first system you can see right here gives us like maybe 2 inches of snow at most, and then the second system gives us anywhere from 6 to 8 inches once again, although with isolated amounts of up to a foot depending on the lake effect and how that plays out right there. So we're going to have to keep a very close eye on all of this as we continue to get this information out for you guys. And the GEM GDPS is a similar situation, similar step to the GEM RDPS right here. And then if we go ahead and show you the European model right here, we're showing you this. We're showing you this just to kind of get a kind of a consensus of what we're looking at right here. Europeans showing a lot less snow for the Chicago area in the Midwest. If we go ahead and show you the first setup, it only gives us 1 inch of snow at most, and then the second one, with the exception of the lake effect, gives us like 2 to 4. So right now there's a bit of a disagreement on how much is going to be falling, but there is a bit of a shocking total when it comes to the lake effect right here, and this is in tandem with other models. Although the European is a bit more expansive with this, it has areas like Gary, Indiana, getting a foot of snow from this, and areas in northwest Indiana, all the way even into South Bend, getting 5+ inches of snow by the end of this. So we're gonna have to pay attention to that. In the Mid-Atlantic, we're looking at anywhere from 2 to 4 inches of snow. Once again, it's still going to be a pretty interesting setup, and there is the possibility for the system to overperform, as sometimes these typically do, but we're going to have to see what plays out right here. And the last thing we're showing you is the GFS, and we're going to show you the kind of the timing and then get into the snowstorm itself. The GFS right here, if we go ahead and show you the most recent, my apologies for that, that was the 0Z. The reason I showed you the 0Z is because that was the furthest out the European went by the time I'm recording this, so I had to switch back to the 12Z to show you the GFS. It's all these models. If it would be great if these models would all just kind of come out at the same time, these long-range models, but unfortunately it doesn't work like that. But we're going to have to show you the GFS anyway. right here. The GFS is bringing that Alberta Clipper into not Canada. It's coming from Canada. It's going into the Midwest and then entering the Mid-Atlantic, bringing some more snowfall over there. Here's the total snow accumulations that we have right there. So mainly in the Midwest, we're looking at anywhere from, at least from the first setup that we have right here, we're going to go ahead and show you that. We're looking at maybe like an inch and a half at most, and then the second one, with the exception of the lake effect, that's bringing up to 18 inches of snow for a lot of, for even areas in areas like LaPorte County, St. Joseph County, with those exceptions right there, we're looking anywhere from like 2 to 4 inches of snow. So there is a bit of disagreement right there, and there's going to be a continuing disagreement as we until probably tomorrow or so, as we continue to get more data in. And then, as we can show you right here, it interestingly has Washington, D.C. only getting less than an inch of snow. All the other models I've seen, with the exception of the NAM, has it getting like anywhere from 2 to 4 inches of snow, which is an extra, which keep in mind, rather, it's going to be an extra 2 to 4 inches of snow from what you guys already got there. So we're going to have to pay attention to that. And now we're going to go ahead and show you the HRRR and the RAP model for pretty much the Midwest system right there, because we just covered the more expansive part first. Now we're going to show you the short range models to kind of get a better understanding. The HRRR is showing that band of snow really impacting any place from Illinois to Pennsylvania, like we said once again, as this Clipper starts to approach. And the HRRR isn't bringing that much snow, at least for the first wave right here. The second wave is going to be a bit interesting as it starts to merge with a low-pressure system, and then things start to kick up a little bit, especially with the background lake effect right here. We're at 48 hours out, and we already see a significant amount of lake effect for areas like Lake County, Porter County, and even into Cook County and Chicago right there. And the second system is going to bring pretty much anywhere from 4 to 8 inches of snow, depending on where you guys are. In like northern Indiana and northern Ohio, we could see anywhere from like 4 to 6 inches of snow. So it's definitely going to be a pretty interesting situation to see that play out. If we go ahead and show you the RAP model right here, here's the latest RAP that we have pulled up. And no, I'm not freestyling this. Here's the RAP that we have going right here, and it has that band of snow going through, like, once again, the Chicago area, through Detroit, through northern Indiana, through Ohio. Toledo could see some snow before it dissipates. Total snow accumulations. The RAP, interestingly, has a lot more snow than the others do. For this, at least for these areas in Indiana and Illinois, we're looking at 3 to 4 inches of snow at the heaviest part of it. And then the precipitation type continues to show that Clipper starting to merge and bring some pretty heavy snow, potentially a lot of lake effect to a lot of areas as we continue to show you this. It's going to really be dependent on where the wind is blowing, but if the RAP is the correct model, it has Porter County getting almost 18 inches of snow. Now, you're probably looking at this and you're thinking the same thing I am. This is a bit unrealistic. Yeah, it's going to depend on where the winds are, and it's a very unpredictable thing to predict lake effect is. So we'll keep you updated here on the Pat's Path Predictor channel, but we're closing the video out right here. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. It helps us out, helps us make more videos like these. The goal of this channel is to get more people engaged with weather. And with that being said, have a wonderful day, guys. Stay safe.